Graph the line formed by the equation x equals 5. Okay, so this is a fun one because it throws students off a lot, and I'm not happy that it throws students off. That's not what makes this fun. What makes it fun is that I can explain it, and I hope that you'll remember this forever. Normally, when you're asked to graph a line and given an equation, you would typically see something in y equals mx plus b form, like perhaps y equals 3x plus 2. And so then you know that you go to 2 on the y-axis, and you put a dot down, and then you move up 3 and over 1 to get to another point and put a dot down, and then you connect them with a line. Or you might do ordered pairs and just pick some values for x, such as maybe -1, 0, and 1. You only need 2 points really, but you can start plugging in points for x. So if I do now 3 times -1 plus 2, that gives me -1 times 3 is -3, and -3 plus 2 is -1. So that gives me one ordered pair that I can go and plot as a dot. And then plugging in 0 for x, I would simplify to 2. So now I have another ordered pair, 0, 2, which I can put down on the graph as a dot. And let's plus 2 would simplify. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So now I have 3 ordered pairs. Remember, you only need 2 dots to be able to connect them with a straight line. So now I can go and plot those dots and draw my straight line. So that's what you're accustomed to doing. And this is a different scenario. So the example we were given was x equals 5. That's a lot different, right? Because now if I plug in any value for x, let's say -1, and I were to replace the x here as -1, then I just have a false statement. Nothing, I haven't figured out any information about what I should put down for y, and I have a false statement. So that's because x can't be -1. It says right here clearly that x is 5, full stop. There's no other information. There's no other possibilities for x. X has to be 5. So no matter what I pick for y, the x value is going to have to be 5. So I can make my table of ordered pairs, but every single pair has to have an x coordinate of 5. Now, what do I do about y? They haven't given me any information about y, so what do I do? Well, the reason we don't have any information about y is because y is allowed to be anything. There's no restrictions on it whatsoever, right? This is a condition that x has to equal 5, but they haven't said anything about y. Y is free and fair game. You can do whatever you want with y. So I'm going to put in, let's just pick some simple stuff like -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Oh, I meant to put those in different cells here. -1, 0, 1, and 2. So these ordered pairs, let's plot them 5, -2, 5, -1, 5, 0, 5, 1, and 5, 2. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots I can make on my graph, and let's see what kind of line they make on my graph. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do them. 5, -2, 5, -1, 5, 0, 5, 1, 5, 2. Right? So here I am on my x-axis, and x is 5 for all of these points. My y value was different for each point, so I moved up or down the specified number of units for y, but I never moved left or right because x was fixed at 5. And so you just see it's forming a pattern of line, a line pattern, and it's vertical, perfectly vertical, right? So that's why vertical lines always look different than your typical line that's slanted or oblique. You can also think of this another way. This example we were given was x equals 5, But let's change it. Let's change this and let's think for a moment about something similar. What if it said y equals 3, for instance? Y equals 3. So now the y value has a condition on it. It's restricted. Y is restricted to 3. And we can pick different x values, whatever we want really, because there was no condition set for x. X is free. Do what you want with it, right? And if we go back to the graph and look at what happens with that, okay, so there's my point 2, negative 2 comma 3, and I'll just do one more because that's all we need is 2, 1 comma 3. So in both cases, the y value is 3, and that's forming a horizontal straight line through the value y equals 3. No matter where you go left to right, you can go anywhere you want left to right, but you cannot go up or down, right? You have to stay at y equals 3. Pretty cool, right? I think so. I hope you do too.